here we go. We are live. Let's see if everything starts coming up. It says excellent connection. It doesn't show me anything, but it says it's there. Let's see. Can you hear me okay? It looks almost okay. Okay, it sounds pretty good on my side. What about you all? How's it going? How's your morning? Let's see. Okay, so today we are talking about planning an iOS app with a custom backend. Hello, how's it going? How do you pronounce your name? I'm really, really bad at names, so please tell me how to properly pronounce your name. So today we are going to be talking about how we are planning our iOS app to work with a custom backend. So we will be planning out what are the models going to look like and what will the database look like, what are the tables, and how does the iOS app communicate to our backend. So really, what kind of endpoints are we going to be writing for this app? And you know what I should do? I need to post that we are now live, because I forget to do that every single time. Where is my channel? On my phone. Okay, live, share. Sound seems quiet on your end. Let's see. Is that any better? Or maybe I'm just talking kind of quiet. That could be it. Here we go. We are live. Okay. I need to set all of these things up ahead of time, and I still haven't done that yet, so eventually we'll do that and we'll be all good. Build in public, Swiftlang. Gotta get all the hashtags. Okay. Tweet. Okay, so today, for everybody who may have just joined, we are going to be building an iOS app that is just a normal expense tracking application, but we will be just doing planning today still, mainly because I have not finished fully setting up my developer account the way I want it, so I don't really want to start actually building the iOS app just yet, so that's why we'll just finish up some planning, which needed to happen eventually anyways, but we might as well just do it right now. So let's go into the app. So let's switch scenes here. And here we go. So we have, oh, that's really hard to see. Oh, I don't know why everybody's little chat is really dark, but hopefully you can still see that. If not, we will edit it again. But okay, so we are basically going to write a couple tickets and then also figure out the endpoints that we're going to be needing and the data models that we have. There's not different tiers of being a developer. I'm just converting my personal account to a business account, so I'm still in the middle of doing that. Okay, started some music. Hopefully that's in the background and you can still hear me clearly. Let me know if it's too loud or what. Okay, I'm finishing getting my little chat all set up. Pop out chat, there we go. It says stream is healthy, so hopefully that's right, because the analytics tab just died on YouTube. I don't know what that's about. Okay, sounds good on your end. Awesome. Is it Granite? Is that how you pronounce it? Let me know. I'm very bad at pronouncing names. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Okay, I don't know. I'm not seeing analytics on my side anymore. Hopefully we're still live. It looks like it. Okay, I think we are still good. Let's see. Yeah, that's me listening to my iPad mini. Seeing if it all is still set up. Okay, I don't know why I cannot see analytics. It's kind of weird. We'll just look at stream health. Okay, so let's start looking at all the tickets that we have written and really more in depth what we're actually going to be setting up. So I had CRUD transactions on iOS and then CRUD Vapor. Let's make this a little bit more specific and figure out the data model. So here, for anyone who doesn't know, here is the app that we're going to be building. This was my poor little sketch that I wrote out. Actually, turn it a little bit down on this side. Okay, and so we have a couple tabs here. This will be like that macOS / iPad sidebar. And we'll see a dashboard, income, expenses, and settings. And then that's what's shown on each of them. So this one will be when income is up. That's what you'll see is this bar graph in a pie chart. I don't know what this graph is called. It's, I mean, still a bar chart, but the way it organizes the categories is different. And then the dashboard, we have the cash flow and profit, and then income and expenses. But as I was making the more high fidelity mock-up right here, I was thinking about it, and this income and expenses is kind of pretty much the same thing within these two graphs, so I'm not sure if I'll still have both. Maybe this one might stretch across the whole screen. I don't know why. Okay, it looks like chat is still live. I don't know, on my side, I am like not seeing something that I typically see when I'm streaming, so I hope it's all good. It looks like it's okay when I'm watching it on my iPad, but that's weird. I'm slightly concerned. Okay, so here we go. We have our income and expenses, so we have to track the income, track the expenses. And I don't know how these graphs are built, so we might just look into some of the graph stuff as well. So we have the CRUD operations. Let's just switch these into... Let's do create and read. Let's do create and read Vapor endpoints. And this will be, we have to do that for we have to do income and expenses, but we might actually use a single endpoint and split them in the database a certain way. Could be one way we do this. Got them all? Graphics are all up? All systems go. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's see. Where do I want to put this? We'll put it over here. Ooh, I like this music. It's popping in here. This is what I listen to at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, let's call this backend. What will our tables look like? Okay, so we will have a table, maybe, of transactions is what I'm thinking. Let's make this way bigger. Yo, 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 what's up? How's it going, Megan? So let's actually call this tables. So here's the different tables we're gonna have, and let's just make this a color so we can kind of tell what's happening. That can just be navy, sure. And bold. And then everything else is going to be regular and just black. And make it a little bit smaller. You broke your website, but that's nothing new for web dev. Is it broken as in running locally on your computer, or like you broke the deployment? Because I have experience with both. Okay, what tables do we want? Because we can split the income and expenses in two different tables, or put them in one table with two different like types on them. No, it's broken in styles. Okay, that's good. Flexbox isn't working right. Oh no. Isn't that like a built-in CSS thing? Flexbox? Transactions. What else is in transactions? Yeah, it is. You need some more time to troubleshoot, but you gotta work. Yep. It happens. Okay, we have income and expenses. Actually, I already have this as a PDF. I might bring that just up on my computer so we can see them both at the same time. There we go. Let's do this and watch your stream. Yay! Thank you for being here. For everybody else, if you are here as well and you like this kind of content, be sure to like the video and we'll keep going with this series. Okay, so this is the one we're looking at right now. Let's make that really small, but make it like that. And this can be a little bit smaller because we're not looking at the whole thing. So we can put them next to each other there. Awesome. Okay, we could split this up with a single table called transactions and then have a type on it that says income and expense, or have two different tables, one for income and one for expense. So let's also think about, what do these look like? So we have income. Maybe I do want to make this bigger. We have income, we have expenses. And with income, we are tracking income category. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Let's do 12. You all still, oh, that's tiny. Can you still see that? Let's do 20. And move that one over a little bit more. Actually, I think this was fine down there. Yeah. Oh, my artboard needs to get bigger. Oh my gosh. Come on, click. There we go. There's the little arrow. So here's the different tables that we have. We could have income. We have income category. What else is in that? We have amount. We have the date. These don't need to be equally spaced, but I'm doing that. Okay, okay. After saying it, let's definitely split these into two tables. So there will not be a transactions table. We'll just have income and expenses. But the transactions could... Because we can easily get all of this data by running a certain kind of query, where we're querying everything by the date. But do we want to do that? Or we could make another table that could be more of a summary, so it's easier to get large amounts of data. Maybe. What did I have in settings? Did I even write settings? Yeah, income. Yeah, income categories. Income categories and expense categories. We will need that, so let's do income. Is that font bigger than the other ones? No, it's the same. Okay. Those are down there. We have income categories. We have expense categories, and actually, these are going to be the same thing. We could just actually, let's call this categories, and it will have a type that will be income or expense. Is this the same font size? I was going to make that smaller. So we have categories, we have income and expense. It'll have a name. Like an ID property? I think that's all we need. This needs to be in order. It'll bother me. ID, name, type. Oh, thank you for the subscription. I just barely saw that. I need to fix my thing so that you all heard it, but I think I didn't make it so I can hear that alert on my side. I will work on that. That'll be my next thing. So we're streaming right now and chatting, but then next week I will not have a stream because I'm going to be on a company retreat, so I don't really have time to stream. So with that, we're gonna start coding next time. So tell everyone we're coding next time. We won't still be planning, but it's nice to plan everything because then we will be, we won't have to think about how much we'll be coding, or not think about how much we'll be coding, but we won't have to think and work through these thought processes because we would have already done them. So let's do that. Hey, how's it going? How do you pronounce your name? It's different on Instagram, or not Instagram, on Twitter versus here. Because it says, is it Kuba? And I'm not gonna try to pronounce your last name. I will butcher that so bad. Okay, so it is Kuba. Okay, great. Thank you for joining. How's it going? And yeah, Megan, planning makes the project so much easier, for sure. It makes everything go a lot smoother. Okay, we have income and expenses. And this just needs, if we're going to make it a single category, this just needs to be a category. And we need an ID property. Just need to like not be center aligned. It's kind of annoying, but that's okay. Because the category, yeah, it's just, we have a name and an ID. We don't need anything else for categories. Okay, income. We have income. So here's our category, the amount, the date, the invoice number, invoice date, and due paid, or date paid. Do we actually need the date property? I don't think we do. We can just say invoice date instead. Because I track like the date in a way of, it's like the date I wrote something down, but technically it doesn't have to be that date. Because really when you track things, you track the date you are paid more so. So we may not need that date property. We do need a description. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things over here, but we have 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, because the extra ID. So this will actually be a foreign key. So that's going to be category ID. And the date it was sent. Gotta hold people accountable for your contract's turnaround time. That's my invoice date, Megan. So I do invoice date as in the date I sent the invoice to somebody, and then that's why I have this extra date property, because let's say the date I entered something, say today, but in this I would call date invoice date as well, and then the date they paid could be like 7 days from now. And yeah, it's at the moment I am not tracking turnaround time, because income could also be from multiple different things. This could be from like Stripe, for example. So this, let's put a, I don't like that. Let's put a question number after those, because those could be optional, because they don't have to be an invoice. They could just be income from services or something where I don't actually send an invoice. But okay, we have all these. Do I need any others? I think that should be it. Let's go with it. Okay, for expenses, we have an ID. We have... Oh my gosh, there we go. Everything's lined. We have category. What else? Let's copy that. We have category ID. We will have amount, the date of the expense, and description. Where is the left there? No, I didn't want it all left on there. There we go. Is that all we need? Do we need anything else? So we have to track our income that we have, and that will be put into a table. We have the category that we are choosing for the income. We have pop-up for new expenses, so that's all the new expenses that we have. So we have the category, the amount, the account. That is one I did not. Date and description. And let's see, what data types are we going to make all of these? So category ID is going to be that might be actually a UUID. Oh my gosh, these are all center aligned and it's bothering me. It is a UUID. This will actually be lowercase. Name is a string. And then type, I will make that an enum of an expense, or an income or an expense. Amount. Okay, I want to say double, but let's do research. Should currency be a double or should currency be a float? Invoice number will be a string. Should this be it'll be a string because, like, even how I do my invoice number, I make this something that's not just a straight integer. This will be the day. This is a string. Okay, we have our ID, which is a UUID. Category is also a UUID. Date is a date. Description is a... oh my goodness. Is a string. And then account. We could have... let's make another table for account. So we will have an account, an accounts table, and they will have an ID with UUID. And let's give it a name. Oops, that is a string. So like for mine, I split it up into, like, I'll say business checking or business or credit card for an expense. Something like that. Did I put that on income? I did not. Do I have it on mine? I need to check how I have my own laid out. If I use accounts on the income. Let's see, where is my spreadsheet? So the whole goal of the app at the moment is really, let's replace my spreadsheet, is the goal. So the program I'm using right now is called Sketch. So this is a macOS app application. It is, I believe, also on the web. I don't know if you can do everything that you can in macOS. I think maybe. But I'm using the macOS app that you download. And then the API will have authentication. Yes. We will get to figuring out how we're going to do that, but yes, it definitely will. Okay, from account. That will be a UUID, and do I do it on income? I do on income. So we will have that exact property there. Let's align those. We have amount, invoice date, date paid, category, description. Oh, I know one we need to do. I don't know yet how we'll use this. Oh my goodness, this is not 9. There we go. We are going to do is archived. So this will mean whether or not the category has been archived, because if we fully delete the category, I believe we could possibly have issues with like the income or expenses being related to some kind of category that you've deleted. So what we're going to do instead is mark it as is archived. And I need to charge my laptop. And Helder, please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah, we will definitely have authentication. Get ready, we are going to try to use Swift's new passkeys. So there will be passwordless authentication, and it'll quote-unquote just work. So we'll see how that goes, but that's the goal. And then Marco, I could use integers for currency multiplied by 100. Like, if you store 10,000 and you want to store for $10, then the client divides by 10 to get the actual thing. Doubles will get you in trouble when it comes to math operations. That's true. But, I don't know, that sounds weird. Storing it as integers. Let's do expense tracker app. Swift. Somebody has made one. What did they use? Ooh, and Paul Hudson has a tutorial too. Okay, let's see all of these. And we have an ad on that one. Okay. Let's view this lovely Webflow ad. Okay, so this one is design and code. We are... Hey, great, thank you. Yeah, we will be building... I don't know if we'll do the backend yet. I need to plan what we're going to be doing next, but we're definitely going to start coding next. So I'm excited about that. But we need to get this planning out of the way because it will help us in the actual coding. So what do they do? Let's see, transaction model. How do they do it? Okay. They have ID, date, institution, account. I don't know what institution means. Merchant amount, type. Category ID is, ooh, they even put is pending, is transfer. Oh, and they combined it, so there's is expense and is edited. I don't know what that would be for. Amount. They used a string for the amount. Why? If you're going to do math on a number, you make it a number. Oh yeah, and they say credit and debit for transactions, which is true. I'm just calling it income and expense. Wait, that says amount, and that's not... Oh, I was looking at account. Oh, thank you. Okay, amount is a double. Thank you for that. I can't read, apparently. Let's see. Swift. difference between double and float? Because I do not remember in Swift what the difference is. Donnie Walls has an article. Okay, they both represent decimal numbers, but they do so in slightly different ways. Okay, 3.123 is inferred to be a double. The reason for that is that double is more precise when it comes to comparing to a float. A float holds a total of 8 positions, or 32 bits. Since double is more precise, it can hold more positions. It uses 64 bits. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's the reason. I forgot what that was. Let's see, what does Paul Hudson use in his tutorial? I don't know if we're gonna see the actual account. Okay, we need to see whatever item.amount was. Okay, how do we go to... Paul Hudson, expense. Let's see. Here we go. Here's the playlist. There's still floating points, not reliable for precise comparison. Integers and math can never be wrong. You think? Yeah, we will see when we get there. It will be interesting. And I'm gonna move my chat up. I was trying to move my chat because I saw my little unicorn covers part of the chat. This is off topic, but I noticed it. Let's move both of these up a little bit. Does that help? Waiting to see. Okay, we're gonna move it up a little bit more. There we go. Okay, you said because double/floats, you are not guaranteed that 0.1 plus 0.2 is equal to 3. How do people do math then? What would be the best way? I'm going to say double for now, but it could change. Why did they all align that way? I wanted them to all... Nope, not that. Storing user settings, archiving Swift objects. I don't know, I wonder what that one is. Working with identifiable items? Maybe this is it. Okay, we need that expense item. We need to see what's in that. He used an integer. But the thing is, the only thing I'm concerned about with, seems like I can't post links here, Let me see if that's a setting that I've put somewhere. Let's see. How to use YouTube live chat. I mean, it's important to know. What are emojis? Emojis are small pictures that represent an emotion, idea, and more. Ooh, I can create a live poll. I didn't know that. Here, we'll do that. It should be an int. I created a poll. Let's see how that goes. Does that show up? Yeah, my issue with creating an integer and dividing by 100, everybody's currency doesn't work in that way. So like, I know Japanese yen, there is no sense. It's just you only have like whole numbers. Maybe I should just make this for Japan because it only has whole numbers and not in USD. Regular. Okay, so regular people cannot. Okay. So you can't put links in chat. That's interesting. If you could tweet me what that is or DM it to me, that would be awesome. Okay, usually for a transaction, you store a currency type and an integer amount, so based on the currency, the logic changes. But would that be something I would have to write manually for every single type of currency that I support? Because if it's that manual, that seems difficult. I'm gonna ask this exact thing. Let's ask Twitter as well. Okay, I'm reading the link you sent. So I would have to put decimal in front of everything? If I used a float? Or a double? Let's see. Yeah, money is difficult. Money is just confusing. It's like supporting a lot of languages. It's difficult. There's a lot of considerations. Okay, let's see. Let's see, building. An expense tracker app. Okay, we are asking, building an expense tracker app, what data type should I use for the amount? How do you support multiple currencies? Should it be int, float, double? And then are there considerations with decimal math? Let's see. Okay, it is in Twitter now, so let's see what Twitter has to say as well. Okay, but I was gonna say Sean Allen, but no, Paul Hudson did amount as an integer. Does he say why? Okay, we have expense items. Okay, we're leaning on double and everyone has a different opinion, which is true, but it's confusing. It's hard to choose. But double is winning so far. And then float and then int. Does this tell me? Okay. We'll keep it there for the duration of the stream because it's going to be an ongoing question. Oh wait, did I just miss it? Did he enter a number? So ours is going to look something similar to this. Okay, new. Okay, he just typed 20, but... They use a double in theirs, but... We have a whole minute of transaction amount. What does that mean? After this ad. Format currency code to USD for that transaction amount. That's... I'll need that at some point. That's the good thing about making an expense tracker, is that people have done it before, so there's a lot of resources on how. Oh, you gotta head out, Marco. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you liked it, and thank you for the information. Okay. Expenso. Who made Expenso? Oh, this is cool. These are just expense tracking apps. Is this a tag? Let's see. What's this one? Button SwiftUI, core data, charts, biometrics. Ooh, I forgot about biometrics. That's something. I'll just throw that in on the list of things to do. We'll put that in the backlog. Oh wait, decimal is another type? That float and double have. I did not know about decimal. Or I forgot it existed. So this playlist is supposed to be EDM, and this does not sound EDM to me. I'll just pick a new song. What does the sign of the decimal mean? The magnitude. Go to the second Google result. It's called "What is the point of floating decimal type?" Oh, there we go. Okay, come on, Swift Forms. Yeah, there is a type in Foundation called decimal, and documentation only says a base number 10. Lower performance in the arithmetic operations. But does matter sometimes. I think sign is positive or negative. Oh yeah, it could be. Hey James, your vote is decimal. Has anybody responded on Twitter to me? To go through double is always the wrong approach. That's good to know. Ooh, the rule of thumb is use a decimal with money. Last point here. I wish I could forward that article to my high school math teacher. Okay, so Paul Hudson is saying how, yeah, double looks like this. I didn't think we'd spend this much time on this. I didn't think it was this hard. This kind of code will produce an error, yeah, because we're adding a decimal and integer, and that's weird. If you want to divide 1 by 3. Okay, let's just go with what Dennis 411 says and go with decimal for right now. Oh, I just saw an article at the bottom there. It said when to use decimal. Oh, I think I just saw something that said money. Money is a very common example. Where does it say that? Do this with money calculations and money estimations. So running. So somebody references decimals for when you care about decimal values. Money is a very common example. If it's critical that 0.1 plus 0.2 is precisely 0.3, then you need decimal. If on the other hand you need 1/3 times 3 to precisely equal 1, then you need a rational type. But I don't generally recommend decimal for money. That's funny. That's like the exact opposite of what that other post said. I'm gonna go back to EDM. Or we'll do hip hop. There we go. So James, or another way amount is int and cent amount as int. But how would I tell whose currency and when to use? Sort of like, how do I tell when to combine those numbers to make like our final, number? Because would I have to sort of like slowly integrate every individual currency? How many currencies are there in the world? Like, what would be the best way to do that with that kind of example, James? There are 180 different currencies. Okay. That's cool. Unless I'm using Harry Potter money, you need to keep track of 3 currency levels instead of 2. Oh, I forgot about that. I know I read that at one point of what each one of them was, but... Okay, so if you all like this video, or be sure to give this video a like if you like seeing really how... The thought that has to go into just an expense tracking app is like this, like more than you would think it would be. Double isn't impressive. Yeah, it looks like decimal is also a data type in Swift. From what I can tell. Yep, right there, decimal. Should I use double or float or decimal? Let's see, what does Reddit have to say? Yeah. So this one says anytime you work with money, you should always use decimal. It doesn't matter that much, you just need to avoid floating point. And by James, by that, do you mean floating point as in float or like as a double as well? Okay, we're just gonna go with decimal even though this one says don't care about it. Okay, wait, let's see what these examples use and then we'll stop deciding. Okay. And don't store your DS store file. You just need the precision. So do not use float or double. Okay. What did this person do? When you make a GitHub repo, don't commit your DS store file. Resources? Where are models? Library? Oh, they use core data. Amount. They had double. Okay, so these examples, one had double. tvOS. Models. It's core data stack? Is this the one? I don't know where this is supposed to go. I think I bookmarked this tutorial at one point. I don't know where the model is though. Ooh, what's cupwise? What's that mean? To conveniently pay for coffee. That's funny. Expense tracker for SwiftUI. Yes, that's what we're looking for. Models. Amount text. I think that looks like the same thing that we just saw. I think they followed a tutorial. Okay, we cannot spend any more time on this. It's hurting my brain. We're gonna go with decimal. Okay, here we go. Now, the question is though, that is what we decided this is actually the Swift type. We need to see if our database uses that exact same data type, because it may not. Let's see. So what we have done so far, we have our tables are going to be categories, income, expenses. Oh, that annoys me. This says income and it's a single word, and then expenses is a plural word, but you wouldn't have incomes. So we have category, we have income, we have expenses, and we have accounts. Do we need anything else? Let's look at our sketch that we have. Chapter 3 of the Guide to Swift Numbers talk about this. It's a pretty good book, which is also free. Ooh, let me drop my Twitter. Yeah, that's me. There is my Twitter. If you want to send me a link to that, that would be amazing. So please do that. Okay, Postgres as decimal. As a big decimal. Does it have to be a big decimal? What would be a big decimal? Lots of money? Monetary types right there. They have one called money. Link already sent. Oh, thank you. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb so it doesn't like flash on my computer as well. So I will check that out. Let's see. Got it. Thank you. Okay, monetary types. Money stores its currency with amount with a fixed fractional precision. There are two fractional forms including integer floating point as well as currency. Oh, it uses currency even. Okay, so these are things to consider with this side is, I think we're going to use money as the data type for our, in the database. So we have decimal, whoops, and then it'll be /money in the DB. But the question is, it said something about the location, and does that matter when we actually store it? Yeah, money can be difficult. Whoa, I'm sorry. Whoops, I literally just hit the mic into my face. Okay. Changes of these can be cast to money. Conversion is the real double precision before restoring. Since the output of this data type is locale sensitive, it might not work to load money data into the database that has a different setting of LC monetary. What does that mean? Yeah, we will eventually convert the data type to Postgres, but as in, so we have a Swift model that will have our like the money data type, and then when we save it to the database, we want to make sure that it stays within either the same like data type, or it doesn't get weird saving it to a database. Oh, it does say floating point not recommended. What does this mean? So the locale depends on the operating system. You could store the smallest unit of the currency as an int and then send, but you think decimal is a solid choice for this project and probably easier to work with. Yeah, I'm definitely going on the easier side to work with, and we'll see how this goes. Let's just call it money and like call it a day for right now, and I'll release a beta and we can see how it all works with a beta. Okay, that was a lot of thinking to figure that out. We have, as our categories, we have categories with an ID, a name, a string, it's a string, the type, and is archived, and we'll just put it to be explicit, that's a boolean. We have category UUID, amount, decimal, money, invoice number, ID, date paid, description, account, which that is the foreign key, ID, account, ID, amount, date, description, account ID. I think that looks good. Okay, there we go. These are all the tables that we will do, so let's just even say PostgreSQL. I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's Postgres, but it's spelled two different ways. So there we go. Those are our tables, which was half of this battle. Now let's talk about the, let me write it down. We're gonna talk about the endpoints on Vapor. That took a lot of thinking. I wasn't ready for that this morning. Okay, let's call this, instead of just backend, let's rename this artboard to database models. And let's make this one, so this artboard expenses has an E too many. Oh, thank you. I did not even say that. Yeah, see, it's early. I stream in the mornings. Okay, let's do API. So looking at both of these, we'll have to have CRUD operations for, oh geez, this is a lot. Building a custom database is a lot of work, or a custom backend is a lot of work. We have to have CRUD operations for all 4 of these. So, where do we start? Let's do categories. So this is going to be the route, which we will actually call it category. Is that 25? That's 25. Okay. I'm gonna make all of those bold though. So we have our category endpoint. And we will then have let's break this down. We have create, read, oops. Let's actually align all. those. So we have category that has create, read, update, delete. Let's duplicate that. Oh my gosh, it's off. There. The formatting really does not matter, but bothered me. Okay, we have category, we have income. We'll have an expense endpoint and an account endpoint. So actually, our sketch is going to need another account. So I have bank account written here, but I'm going to update the account. You all will not see this because I'm not going to connect this right now. Oops. But I need to write it down. But we'll just have account. Oops. Yanamal, what do you mean, export? Oh wait, does Sketch export to uint easily? What do you mean? Oh, UI kit. Not really. Sketch is a prototyping tool, so you use it to design something. You don't really use it to, like, create code. I'm gonna tweet again, because I keep forgetting. Okay, so we have these because we have to create, read, update, delete for all of them. And is that it, or? How do we want to make graphs? I think let's do some research on how Swift Charts works. So we have Swift Charts. There is oh, it's not, we can't just search charts. That's a lot. Oh, what is his name? I think it was Yordi. Yes. Yes, Swift Charts examples. There we go. Let's see what this looks like. So, Yordi had created in a repository of Swift chart examples. So, pretty much a lot of what is shown in the WWDC sessions, he created a repo so you can kind of see the code behind all of these. So let's look how some of those are done, and we may need more endpoints for this kind of stuff. Because we could even, because we're making the backend custom, we could decide, like, for this kind of graph to build, we could fetch all of the data and make it be returned in some format where it just has like the date and, or sorry, the month and the amount. So we wouldn't have to actually manually calculate it on the client side. We could do all of that whole calculation on the back end and just return exactly what we want on the front end, or to the front end, meaning to the iOS app. Let's look at some Swift chart examples though on how this works. To do, add missing charts. Okay, we have all the charts here. These are cool. Line chart with changing gradient, line charts, line point chart. We have a threshold mark, 2 bars. Okay, we will need this 2 bars, and we'll probably need... the pyramid-like chart is kind of like my flow chart, except it's vertical. Ooh, soundbar, that's cool. Oh, horizontally scrolling bar chart. That is like this one. Okay, we broke these up for this, so let's create the tickets for these. So we have, let's change this. So we need to make the category endpoint, and it will have create, read, update, and delete. Is there a space right there? There was a space, okay. Let's copy that. So we have our category endpoint. Let's just add some detail of for income and expense. There we go. So we have our category income or category endpoint. We have the income endpoint. When you receive money is what it'll be about. Create, read, update, delete. It is a to-do. And it is a backend, so it is a Vapor ticket. Let's just assign all of these a large. We have income endpoint, we need the expense endpoint. You spend money is when this happens. What is account? Category, income, expense. Did I write income already? Account endpoint, income or expenses. That's a to-do. Okay, we added, let's see. Account, expense, income, and category. Account, expense, income, category. Okay, cool. We have all 4 that we've written down so far, and then now we're looking at Swift charts to see, do we need any other kind of endpoints? Or are we going to do everything on the front end side? I think these things that we might make another endpoint for, these kind of chart related stuff, but let's see what the endpoints look like. You could make a GitHub contribution graph of like expenses, so when you spend money. let's see, we need the basics. Let's get a bar chart. What is that called, a bar chart, or is there another name? It's called single bar. Oh, it does take us to the code. That's beautiful. Single bar. Okay. Let me put this up here so everyone knows as well. This is what we're doing. At the moment, we are designing the API for the expense tracking application. And right now, these are the database tables that we'll have. So this is where we'll be saving all the data. We'll have categories for your income and expenses. We'll have income, an income table, an expense table. May just call it expense. So we have the income table and the expense table. And then we have the account. That's still gonna say accounts. The accounts table. And with this, we have to put data into those tables in some way. So for that, we will have create, read, update, delete, which are our 4 different kinds of like database operations. And we need one for every single category, or sorry, every single table that we have. So we'll have at least 4 different endpoints, and we will probably have more. So the next step is looking at Swift charts to see how does Swift charts use the data and what kind of data may we need to get back to make these kind of charts. You know what? Would it be chaos if I created a PR for this just to add SwiftLint to this repository? Because this person has a gigantic tab right here and one right here. They need to align everything. It bothers me. So storing data locally, I haven't decided what I may possibly use. At the moment, I might just pull all of the data. But I don't know. They're storing it locally and then in a cloud database is like more work, and then also figuring out what do you want to store the data locally in, and then how do you keep them in sync, which can be really, really difficult. So right now, we're probably just going to fetch the data. So what does is overview mean? Let's just clone this. Let's see, CD, let's go to desktop. Ooh, that's a lot. This music is too chill for me. This operation could not be complete. What happened? Okay, why are we not working? We've GitHub build. Why is this not working? We just cloned it. Uh-oh, somebody broke main. Here we go. Time to tweet at him. There we go. We have officially tweeted at him saying something doesn't work. Okay, so you said, so you would not necessarily need a network connection for your app to work. No, you would 100% need a network connection for this app to work right now. Because, the communication to the database, this is all, this is a cloud database, is what it's going to be. This will be saved, within a cloud, basically. So you have to be connected to the internet for this to work at the moment. Later, we maybe go into offline support and like local databases, but no. So the other way around from what you had said. Okay. Not that one. So we are going to just look at the example because the project won't build right now, which is sad. But he'll fix it, I'm sure. Okay, bar charts. Let's look at the single bar. Because I was confused, why do we have is overlay? I don't know what that's for. Okay, chart data ID/day. Yo, this indentation is all over the place. I totally might create a PR and just fix all that. Oh, this hurts my eyes to look at. Like this is way too far over. Maybe. Customization is spelled not in American English. Oh, thank you for the subscription. Let me see who. I need to make that longer. I didn't see who it was. Emin? I have my stream running in front of me as well. Oh, I don't know if did I hear that on my iPad or I don't think I heard that on my computer. I think I only heard that because my iPad's in front of me. Yeah, thank you though. Thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. Okay, they did. What is data? What was that? Because yeah, we have chart. It has this data property. Where does that come from? Okay, sales data dot last 30 days. So let's look for sales data. No.swift file, where's sales data? Oh, it's an enum, that's why. And the file's just called data. Okay. So the data has a day, which is a date. And then whatever sales is, that is a number. So I'm guessing that's like the amount. Oh, and it's mapped. Is that a tuple? Tuple? So it's mapped to a sales object that has the day and the sales. Oh, I think because they had to create a date. I think that's what this is for. What is the sale object? We have sale.swift? No, we're Sale a struct. What is it? There. Oh, it's still in that same file. I should have looked. Yep, it's a date and an integer. Okay. So if we are looking back at this, we have a date and an integer. And we have it's called a bar mark. Oh, is that what the isOverview property is? Was that threshold mark? Devs. You can't type anymore. It happens. It's early. It's okay. Or no, it was late for you though, wasn't it? Yeah, I think the single bar, I think that isOverview property has, oh maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Swiftly rush. So we can have amount, we have all that. Yep, so it is a bar mark. Oh, so it's a chart. Where'd the chart go? Did I see that? Oh, okay, here it is. See, this is why you need good indentation. I can't read this. So we have a chart, and I'm guessing each bar is called a bar mark. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And then they change the chart for a point mark instead of a bar mark, and it makes, yeah. And we can change the colors, expand the data source. Okay, that's a good overview. So we just need the date and then the amount, which I guessed. Hey Adrian, how's it going? We're working on my expense tracker application, and right now we are making the endpoints. So these are what endpoints the backend has that our iOS app will need to communicate with. So here's our different tables. We have categories, income and expenses, and then accounts. And then we need an endpoint for each one of those. And I'm trying to think. So we do need cumulative amounts for each of these because we just need the, like, some label, and then we need the amount as right here. So this would be some kind of label and then a number. So how would we want to get this data? So if we want to get the data back to make this, we need what do we call that? Monthly income? So we would query for monthly income with, we could also do expenses as well on that same endpoint because we'll need all of them. So cash flow, let's look at what this one looked like. We had go back to charts. We had, which one was that? This one, 2 bars. That was the image. Bar charts, okay. 2 bars, what does the data look like for this one? Location data dot last 7 days. I think it did try to open the Xcode project. Either way though, if it has an Xcode workspace, you should use the workspace file, if it's there. Let's look at it again. Because it has this build config. But I'll try again later. Maybe for the next one, we'll try to download it again. Let's see, did you already say anything? Ooh, flow, maybe there was an unresolved merge conflict. That is possible. It happens. Let's see. Nope, I didn't find one. Nope. I don't know. So we have Cupertino sales, which is a sales object. So last 7 days data gives us we have a date and then a number. Then we have another date and number, and this is a nested array. So we have 2 different arrays. So I'm guessing one's the top, one's the bottom. So we have 54 and 81. Let's go back to the actual picture. That could be right. Then we have 137, 84, 84, 84. Oh, this is not aligned on the center. I don't know if this will work. I want the middle to be aligned in the center. For one of my charts, for the cash flow one, this actually 2 bars is the proper chart that I need for the expenses. Let's write that down. Charts. Let's do... Actually, we'll keep that as charts, and inside of charts, we'll do monthly gross income. We'll change all these to check marks. And this is a, I think it was called a single bar chart. Yeah. This is the iOS app. We'll call it medium because we don't know. We have monthly. Am I tracking net income? Oh, I didn't even draw net income. That's funny. We will just cross this one out for right now. So we have monthly gross income. Let's finish what we have. Income sources pie chart. Do these have pie charts? Oh, we don't have a pie chart. We may not do a pie chart then. What's the iPhone storage one? That's the picture. We'll have to rethink that. We won't use a pie chart there. This one is called the 2 bars chart. So the monthly expenses. Or actually, I have this written as yearly expenses, not monthly. 2 bars chart. Call that as medium, iOS, save. Okay, this income expenses one. Where was that one? Ooh, here. Horizontal scrolling bar chart. That one is our cash flow. We'll call that one a large, because that looks big. Nope, not Vapor. This is iOS. Let's see. I thought I saw one with 2 bars right next to each other for the same, like, point. It's right there. Okay, so it's possible. We don't know what kind of chart it is, though. And that is... I need to flesh out this design a little bit. The charts kind of don't make sense with the other words that I wrote. So let's just call those for right now. Cancel. And let's see. So to make this graph though, where did that one go? The charts. Ticket, monthly gross income chart. This should say yearly expenses chart. And then cash flow chart. Okay. So we will need a monthly income endpoint. And this will gather all of the transactions from January 1st to like 31st or whatever month we pass it. And give us back actually it'll give us back a single number that will be the month and then the amount. But do we want to do that for... We could have multiple, so we'll have... We could do monthly income with a query parameter of like month name. And this can return us, let's say... Okay. This will return month name and then the amount. And we could have another one that could just be we could call yearly income maybe. So we could have we could call like one endpoint called yearly income. And this would give us back all of this data. Because while this is monthly gross income, it's shown on a graph for an entire year. So let's keep that endpoint, whoops, and do yearly income. Or no, we'll keep this This will then return us the month name and amount. Oops, not. For all 12 months. So it will return, let's do like January with 1200 or 120. Then we have February. It'll look like that. Because we can make the data look like whatever we want, and which is really cool. So doing that could help us easily build this graph because we could just fetch the data and immediately throw it into a graph. But the back end will have to do the computation to put all of this together. Let's see, month name and amount. So this will give us, do we need? That year I'm gonna change the color. It can be darker green. Because this will depend on the year. Okay, we have monthly income. Do we need that though? Because I look at returning monthly income. Oh, thank you for the subscription, Harry. I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. So I need to double check my alerts because I heard that on my iPad because I'm watching the stream on my iPad as well to like see if it goes down or anything. But I didn't hear that on my computer and I need to set it up to do that. Because I thought I had it set up, but apparently I do not. Yeah, definitely. How do you pronounce your name? Is it... I don't want to mispronounce your name and poorly butcher it, but yes, that's the graph I was thinking of using too, was that iPhone one, but I don't know what it is called instead of the pie chart. Where was it? This one, the iPhone storage, I think it's mentioned here because it's one that's missing. Oh, no, it's this one. One dimension bar chart, I'm guessing is it. That says iPhone. Yeah, total size specified. Yep, it is that it. Let's put it down. Awesome. Okay, well that was instead of income sources, so. This is a one-dimensional bar. Yep, pie chart doesn't exist in Swift charts, so we will call this iOS side. Let's go with large. And that looks good. Awesome. So hello, you want to start your iOS dev journey and want to know if I dedicate a year into self-learning full-time, will it help me find a job as a junior developer? Yes, you definitely can do that if you would like. I'm gonna write down, this is just gonna be a note, notes. Swiftly rush, yeah, it's 2 words. we'll keep this as like a backlog, even though it's not a real task, it's just notes. Yeah, I can drop the link here. Yeah, so here is the link I would recommend for learning iOS development. This is an affiliate link, just by the way, but it is for Code with Chris, who also has an iOS YouTube channel, but I really like his tutorials and think they're really good for beginners. It depends on your goals for when you want to get an iOS dev job. If you're looking for a job within this 1 year, I would say learn UIKit. SwiftUI is really nice and it is fun, but a majority of the jobs out there still are in UIKit. There's a couple trickling in that are not, and they're in SwiftUI, but learn UIKit to start. And I have a post about that as well. So you can look at that. I did write it in October of 2020 when SwiftUI first came out, but honestly, this is still my opinion at the moment. Okay, so I think this may be where we stop. We have made pretty good progress, so let's talk about what happened. Yeah, you're welcome. Feel free, I don't know if you can see above in the chat, I think I dropped my Twitter. Go ahead, you can DM me if you have any other questions, or or tag me on Twitter and tweet to me. Okay, so for everybody, what we did today is we talked about the data models that we have for the app. Let me actually turn off the music for this. So we talked about what tables we're going to have in our application. So it's going to be a Postgres database, and we will have 4 different tables to start so far that I can think of. So we have the categories. So this will be what kind of category is your income or expense in. Excuse me. What kind of category is our income and expense in? So this is still not left aligned. I have tried to align all of these and I still haven't done it. So there we go. So we have our category, and it has an ID, a name, a type, whether it's an income and expense, or if it is archived. So if somebody tried to delete that, we're not really going to be deleting it. We are actually going to be archiving it and just marking this property as false. For income, we have our category ID, amount, the invoice date, the invoice number, the ID, date paid, description, and account ID. So that will follow what our sketch has for right here, entering a new income. And then I'll get to your question afterwards. Okay, you go by your nickname for anyone not Indian. You can let me know how to pronounce the full thing. I can try if you really don't. That's totally fine. Is it Pratt? Is that how you would pronounce that? Is that right? Let me know. But we have our income. Those are the categories, and that will be what is actually filled in here. So now what our more concrete database looks like is differing from the original sketch that we had, because we were still sketching it out, figuring out what we were going to do, but thinking about it further, we realized we needed different things over here. So like how we have an ID property in our income, but in reality, we don't need to see that on the front end. But we have this date property that we then figured out over here. We don't actually need that one. So now we have expenses. So we have an ID, category, amount, the date and description, and the account. So that will be right here. And that one we pretty much got right from what we had in the sketch. And then we have our income categories and income expenses. So that will actually take us to another screen that will do all of these operations. And then we have accounts. So I had originally put bank account, but in reality, we're probably going to only need, we'll just call it accounts for right now, and it'll just be like an account name that you type in. And then lastly, we started thinking about the API. So we have to have CRUD operations for all 4 of these tables. And then thinking about how does the data look in our charts and how do we get that data. We could get like all of our expenses back and do all the computation on the front end, but we don't really have to because we can design the API however we want. So if we want to look at something like this monthly gross income chart, instead of fetching every single red income amount and then on the front end categorizing it into categorizing it into every different month, we can actually create a new endpoint just called yearly income and give it a year, and it returns the month amount and then the month name and then the amount. So we can make the data look like this to come back, which is, let me zoom in a little bit more, which is January with the amount, February with another amount, and then that amount can be directly taken and thrown into this chart super quick and easy. And after looking more into the Swift charts, we figured out using Yordi's repo here called Swift Chart Examples. These are all from the WWDC videos, but it's an open source repo where everybody's contributed to look at what are all the new charts that we have and how can we make those in Swift UI. We figured out that pie chart is not an example, so we can't make a pie chart. So instead of doing that, we are going to use this chart, which we found was called a one-dimensional chart that we are going to use in place of here. So I will go and update the sketch and then we'll see closer to what it may really look like. And so that's all we did for this video, and we will start coding in the next one. So I'm super excited. We are definitely going to start coding on the next side, and we will figure out which one we want to do first, the iOS app or the Vapor app. I'm not really sure. It kind of doesn't matter sort of which one we do, but we'll have to do both eventually. So let me know which one you would rather do, the iOS app first or the Vapor application first, and we can figure out which one. So be sure to comment that below and like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. But then lastly, to answer your questions, oh, is it just Smile? I didn't even see that. Yeah, we will be using Vapor for the server side. Yep. So you can ask any questions to me on Twitter and I'll get back to you, or you can comment them down below about this whole project and series, and I will see you all in the next video.